Hey everyone, and welcome back to another chapter of From Ashes to a New Beginning, written by me, Stacey Holt. Sorry for my voice, pollen has been a little bad lately. But for the artwork, it was done by Pastelkittygoreart. As for my very talented voice actors, Diz will be voicing Cat Noir and Adrien, Obrezikyo will be voicing Hawk Moth and Gabriel, Catherine will be voicing Mayura and Natalie, TitaniumKitten will be voicing Luka and Plagg, and I will be voicing Marinette, Ladybug, and the narrator. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Now, Chapter 55. Without another word, they sprinted off in different directions. Cat Noir took off where he agreed to look. He quickly searched each bedroom, the living room, the kitchen, the bathrooms, every room he could think of. Nothing. He ran back to Gabriel's office and found Luka still in there looking around.
What are you doing? Did you look in my father's bedroom?
Cat Noir asked in a panic.
Where is...
Luka stopped his sentence. He thought for a minute. Should he ask where the basement was? Marinette told him not to go down there for any reason.
Luka!
Cat Noir shouted, shaking Luka to snap him out of it.
Huh? What?
He said.
Did you check in my father's bedroom? Where have you searched? Have you found Marinette?
Cat asked frantically.
Cat Noir, do you have a basement?
Luka asked, looking him in the eyes.
A basement? I don't think, but it's possible, I guess.
Cat said, thinking. As they were talking, they smelled the smoke getting stronger. They started to see the smoke coming from under the floor, but more intensely in a certain spot, near where his father usually stands to work on designs. They rushed over to it and began trying to pry it open. They finally managed to pry it open, and as soon as it opened, black smoke escaped into the room, along with immense heat.
Don't tell me,
Cat said out loud.
She's gotta be down there.
Luka said, looking at Cat Noir with a worried face.
I got this, newbie. There's an intense fire down there. In case she isn't down there and Hawkmoth was lying, go get the fire department. Superheroes can't extinguish flames.
Cat said, patting Luka's shoulder.
Got it. Be safe down there.
Luka nodded, ignoring Marinette's previous request. Luka took out his yo-yo and ran out of the Egress mansion, zipping off to warn the fire station about the fire. Cat took a deep breath of almost clean air and extended his staff to the bottom of the darkened hole. It seemed like it was an elevator of some sort. Cat Noir slid down, holding his breath so he wouldn't breathe in the smoke, and immediately, the heat was 10 times worse when he reached the bottom. He retracted his staff and used it to breathe air as he ran around the basement, desperately searching. The room was hot with red and yellow flames. They were rising higher by the second. He jumped through flames and made it to the end of the room, where he was met with a coffin and Marinette laying in front of it. Cat Noir looked inside the coffin and saw nothing inside of it, wondering why Marinette didn't climb inside to escape the flames, but decided to push those thoughts out of his mind. He needed to focus on getting Marinette out safely. Cat Noir picked Marinette bridal style and looked around desperately, seeing the flames around him grow larger. He saw the bay windows above him and looked down at Marinette, who laid unconscious in his arms. He took a deep breath from his staff and jumped toward the window, turning in midair. He turned so that way his back would hit the glass first, making sure it wouldn't hurt Marinette. He busted through the glass, feeling the heat escape with him. He landed outside of the Egress mansion and heard the sirens heading their way in the distance. Cat Noir turned toward the Egress mansion as his home was burning down in flames. Cat Noir looked down at Marinette and smiled, holding her close to him, thankful he got her out before she burned up in the fire.
Yeah, thank God I got you out in time.
He sat, pulling her into a hug as she laid in his arms. He felt something drop, and he looked down at her. Her arms dropped below her, and he leaned down closer, then held his breath to listen more closely. His heart sank, and his world almost came to a stop. She wasn't breathing. Cat laid her down on the ground and kneeled down beside her. Why? Why didn't she tell them where she was? Why didn't she ask to keep him Miraculous? Why did this happen? Why did he not stay with her? Why? Wasn't he there to protect her? Why did he not protect her? His promise he swore he would keep. He swore to her parents he would keep her safe no matter what. Cat fought tears that kept creeping toward his eyes and would bite his tongue to keep the tears from streaming down his face. He would endure physical pain so he could endure the emotional pain. This couldn't be real. She was Marinette. She was always right. She was their everyday Ladybug. She would always have a plan. This was part of her plan, right? Luka zipped his way over and found Cat Noir kneeling on the ground in front of Marinette in tears. Luka rushed over and kneeled down beside him. Cat Noir wouldn't speak. He sat there in silence. He knew if he said it out loud, it would be true. He knew if he said it out loud, it would be real. If he said it out loud, he couldn't take it back, and there wouldn't be any way of changing it. Luka turned away once he realized it himself, also not saying anything to Cat Noir.
This is just part of the plan, right? She knew this would happen. Come on, Marinette. It's time to get up.
Cat asked, looking to Luka as if he was in on the plan. Luka shook his head, telling Cat that there was no plan.
There had to be a plan! She would have done something! She wouldn't have just sat there and died!
Cat yelled.
She did.
Luka said.
What?
She called us. She told me not to let you go into the basement.
Luka sighed.
The basement? That's why you knew there was a basement. Why? Why did you wait so long to go find her?
Cat said, his rage building.
She told me not to tell you. There's something down there she tried to protect you from.
Luka said, feeling guilty.
You let me go down there regardless. Look how that turned out. Guess she didn't want me to see her die.
Cat spat.
I don't know.
Luka sighed.
I froze up. When I felt the heat and smelled the smoke, I was afraid. You weren't afraid to die. You were afraid of her dying. That's why you went. I'm a coward.
Luka frowned.
That's your excuse? She died. You let her die. You could have told me what she said on the phone and we could have gone straight there.
Cat grit his teeth.
Cat, I'm sorry.
Luka frowned again, not sure what else to say to him. Luka and Cat turned away from one another in silence until they heard something behind them, causing them to turn around. It was Hawkmoth.
You're in pain. Are you ready for my help now, son?
He smiled.
You let her die. This is your fault,
he said, letting his anger take over.
We can still save your mother, son. You got Marinette out. No harm done.
Hawkmoth smiled.
No harm done? What are you talking about? You burned our house down!
Cat glared.
I had to get you to see our true motives. We only want to help, Adrien. If you wanted something bad enough, you would do anything, wouldn't you?
Hawkmoth smirked. Cat Noir's eyes widened.
You have the Miraculous to bring her back to life. You would not use it? You would let her die? You would do nothing?
Hawkmoth said, walking towards him as if to apply some sort of mental pressure.
I don't know,
Cat said, taking a step backward.
Really? You're this type of coward? I raised you to be this weak? You would let not only your mother die, but the love of your life die as well? You're pathetic.
Hawkmoth glared. Hawkmoth grit his teeth and took a step forward, reaching for Cat Noir's ring as Cat Noir stood mentally battered by his mentally damaging words. Luka used his yo-yo and threw it, swatting Hawkmoth away, causing him to jump backward.
Don't you dare lay a finger on him! You hurt Marinette. You're not hurting him either.
Luka glared.
Don't you have any manners? Didn't your mom and dad teach you to leave family matters to their family?
Hawkmoth yelled, using his staff to swing at Luka. Hawkmoth and Luka started a fight as Noir turned his attention over to Marinette. He frowned, ignoring everything that was going on. It was as if nothing fazed him anymore. Was he really a coward? Would he let Marinette die? No. He could do something. He didn't want to. He hated thinking about it. It was the last thing he wanted to do. But it was the only thing he could think of besides using the Miraculous. He knew if he did use the Miraculous to bring her back, she wouldn't forgive him.
Cat Noir! I need some backup over here!
Luka said, fighting off Hawkmoth. Cat Noir stood up and walked over to Marinette, picking her up in his arms with a saddened expression. As he looked down at Marinette's lifeless body, he fought back tears, knowing what was about to happen would change everything.
Thanks, Luka. But I'm going to make everything right.
Cat smiled toward him. Hawkmoth and Luka both turned to Cat Noir, seeing him holding Marinette.
What are you going to do?
Hawkmoth said.
Cat Noir, wait!
Luka yelled. Cat Noir turned and jumped off, disappearing away from the burning building, away from Hawkmoth and Luka. The fire department showed up a little while later, causing Hawkmoth to flee. Luka grit his teeth, but he knew he needed to follow Cat Noir. Luka opened his yo-yo and saw Cat Noir sitting on a building about 10 minutes away. He followed the tracker and found him sitting near the Eiffel Tower. He zipped his way up there, but didn't see Marinette.
Where is she?
Luka asked.
Marinette?
Cat assumed. Luka could see the wet stains on Cat's face as he stood near him.
Yeah, where did you take her?
Cat turned slowly toward him and stood up. Cat gave him a cold, expressionless look, making Luka feel worried for him, as well as Marinette.
Cat? Adrien? Tell me, what did you do?
Luka asked again. Cat walked slowly toward Luka and stopped directly in front of him and frowned. He quickly took his earrings, watching Luka de-transform.
Nothing yet. I'm going to fix everything.
Cat frowned.